Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football. Welcome back to another live show on the channel. And today's show was meant to be my match reaction to Manchester United versus Watford, because I said in my watch along I don't want to go live until after Liverpool Arsenal game. I want time to process the defeat. I want time to process what I want to say. I said, I want to watch the Liverpool Arsenal game. All of that. Well, today's video is kind of a match reaction to that, but there has been a lot of news that's just come out. I've been told some information, and I think I'm going to make it a 2-in-1 live. I am going to talk about the Arsenal match, not the Arsenal match, sorry. I'm going to talk about the Manchester United-Watford match. I'm going to give you my match reaction on that. I didn't end up watching the Arsenal-Liverpool match. I was just not in the mood. I went on a walk. Man United just made me not want to watch football. Man United have just made me not want to watch football right now. Like, I'm just not interested in football right now. But it's nice to know that Arsenal are getting spanked by Liverpool, even though I hate Liverpool. But moving on, you guys have joined the live stream because you know what? You don't want to talk about Watford United. It's horrible. It's horrific. You want to know about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You want to know about his future. And I will give you my detailed thoughts on Man United versus Watford in this game. But I quickly want to address some things I've been told, some things that have just come out, and some actual interesting news regarding Ole and his future. And all I'm saying is, I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be Manchester United manager for the Villarreal game. I've been given some information, and it would make sense if he wasn't, to maybe make me believe that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer won't be manager for the Villarreal game. Is it Villarreal next? Yeah. So let me get into what's been said. Let me get into the news and all of that. Has he been sacked yet? No, he's not been officially sacked yet. But right now, Manchester, as we're speaking right now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is in a meeting with the Manchester United board and owners. There is a meeting going on right now with the Manchester United board owners and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as we speak. This meeting would not be going on if they weren't planning on sacking Ole. So unless Joel Glazer turns around and goes, I like Ole, I'm not going to sack him, there is a very, very strong chance Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to be sacked. I've been told from a source, who obviously I'm not going to reveal because, in case they're wrong, but the source who told me, and this source often tells me leaked lineups and they're 9 times out of 10 correct. This source has told me information in the summer. They're a very, very good source. They've said to me there's a 99% chance Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be sacked and Manchester United will announce it in the next 24 hours. He told me he believes from what he's heard, from what he's been told, that there's a 99% chance that he's going to be sacked in the next 24 hours. He said he'll be very, very shocked, and if he isn't sacked, it will be because of Joel Glazer. That's what he told me, and it links in with what Fabrizio Romano said. So what I'm doing right now is today I'm going to tell you what Fabrizio Romano said. I'm going to tell you the latest there's news on Sudan. I'm going to give you all the latest news. I'm also going to do my match reaction to Manchester United versus Watford. And when Ole's officially announced as being sacked by the club, there'll be a live stream maybe tonight. If Ole's officially sacked, there'll be a live stream again tonight. But there's a meeting going on right now, guys. And I'd say it's pretty likely that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer could be sacked as Manchester United manager. So smash a like on the video, by the way, guys, if you are Ole out. Smash a like if your Glazers out and all of that. Sudan, we will be talking about that as well. And will there be a change of coaches? This is what we want to talk about. So first of all, let me actually get out the real reliable news. Let me get the juicy news out. So this is what the Don of transfers, Fabrizio Romano, has come out and said. He's come out and said internal talks going on at Manchester United to discuss Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's position. Now, Fabrizio Romano, he speaks facts. This guy speaks facts. He says part of the board officials are pushing to sack the manager immediately. It's a serious possibility now after the terrible performance at Vicarage. This has come out from Fabrizio Romano. He said the final choice will be up to Joel Glazer. So the fact that Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that right now, as we're sitting right now, you know what? Do you know what's funny? Over in Manchester, over in London, wherever the frick Ollie is, he might have just got a sack in the last 30 seconds. He might have been told he's got a sack in 30 seconds. Because right now, there is talks going on with the owners, the board, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And if the board weren't planning on sacking Ole, they wouldn't be holding this meeting. You've got to remember that. And Fabrizio Romano said it's a real possibility that they get sacked. Now, that's come out from Fabrizio Romano, by the way, guys. But more news has come out, more information, more sources has all come out as well. So this is what I want to talk about. Richard Fay said that United had 2 weeks to make a managerial change with plenty of time to prepare for today. Instead, they're in panic mode, wondering what to do after another humiliating defeat. Lack of strategy stems from the top. Many issues will remain when the new manager is in. And I want to talk about this. It looks like Ole's getting sacked tonight. I've been told that it's very likely that Ole's getting sacked tonight, and the reports are suggesting that Ole's going to be sacked tonight. Nothing's official, but I'm going to be live for the next hour. And there could be a chance that while we're in this live stream, it will be announced that Ollie's sacked. So do stay tuned for that, because as soon as Ollie's sacked, I will address that in the live stream. But what I want to talk about is United had 2 weeks to sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. United actually had 2 weeks to go and sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And now they're in a meeting right now panicking because they need to get a replacement in. We had the whole international break to sack Ole, and now we've decided to sack Ole 1 game after the international break. I think that's an absolute disgrace. I think that's an absolute embarrassment, if you want my first opinion on that. We are now panicking to sack Ole. We're now panicking to find someone for when we sack Ole, when we had 2 weeks to do it. And I look at that and I just laugh, and it's embarrassing and all of that. But you know what, it is what it is. But what else has come up, by the way, guys? The Times Sport have come out and said that the Glazers have instructed Manchester United officials to further accelerate attempts to persuade Zinedine Zidane to take over the managerial position mid-season, increasing financial offer to Zidane. Reports have come out that Manchester United are going to give Zidane fat wages, and the Glazer family have instructed Manchester United to push for Zinedine Zidane. The Times also confirmed that Manchester United Emergency Board has confirmed a meeting to discuss with Solskjaer's dismissal as manager. The virtual meeting has been scheduled for 7 p.m. with Solskjaer's compensation team on its agenda. So the fact that the Times have said at 7 p.m. today, so 20 minutes ago, Manchester United went into a virtual meeting with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to discuss his dismissal as manager. They said that the virtual meeting was scheduled for 7 p.m. and that Solskjaer's compensation team is on the agenda. That basically means Ollie's getting sacked. The Times have basically said, without saying Ollie's getting sacked, that Ollie's being sacked, because they're saying he's in a virtual meeting, he's got a compensation there, it's to talk about his dismissal. The Times, without saying Ollie's been sacked, have basically found a clever way to say Ollie is getting sacked without actually saying those words. You know, Solskjaer has managed his final game in charge of Manchester United and will be sacked within 48 hours. Solskjaer said his goodbyes to the staff and players following the Watford defeat. Has just come out from Encutis of the Sun, who's probably Neil Custis of the Sun, is probably the most reliable person at the Sun, and he said that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has gone and said goodbye to all his teammates and all of that. So we've got a report from the Sun saying that Ole said bye to his teammates and staff. We've got a report from the Times saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to be sacked, and there's a meeting right now to be sacked. And Fabrizio Romano said it's very, very highly likely that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to be sacked. So, guys, throughout this live stream, I'm going to keep you updated on all the news as it comes in live about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and about his situation at Manchester United. But I'm just going to say it looks very, very likely that he's going to be sacked. It will cost Manchester United £7.5 million to sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but they are prepared to do that and go for Zinedine Zidane. Some sources are reporting that, and the Times, who are a pretty decent source, are reporting that we're already in discussion for Zinedine Zidane. We're already going all out for Zinedine Zidane. Quickly, guys, make sure you smash a like on the video if you have not already. And if you're not subscribed to Alice Talks Football, please do go ahead and subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football to stay updated on all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, and more as it comes in. I'm going to be giving you all the latest live updates throughout the next hour on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as it comes in. And we've got news after news after news coming in saying that he's about to be sacked. He's in a meeting to be sacked. Some people are saying he's already been sacked. But obviously, we're here waiting on an official announcement or waiting on a Romano announcement. But as the news comes in, make sure you subscribe because I will keep you updated. I do want to talk about the match against Watford as well. And I just think that's an absolute disgrace. And I think the most embarrassing thing for me is we could have avoided that. We really, really could have avoided that defeat to Watford very, very easily. We really, really could have. We could have. Because you know what? We had 2 weeks to sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And I will say it 100 times over. We had 2 weeks to sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and we decided to give him one more chance versus Watford, where we got absolutely embarrassed, absolutely humiliated. I mean, it was an absolute embarrassment, that was. You know, we had 2 weeks to sack him, and now they want to sack him now. Our owners are disgrace. Our owners are absolutely awful. The fact that our owners had 2 weeks to find a replacement and are now panicking and bringing up Zidane, according to the Times. Apparently, right now, our owners are panicking, trying to offer Zidane big money to come. You had 2 weeks to get a new manager, and if you got a new manager in the international break, you could have avoided that disgrace against Watford today, but you didn't. You let it get to rock bottom. Our owners have let it get to rock bottom, and Ollie ain't coming back from this. It's basically been confirmed he's being sacked. It's just not been officially announced, so we're waiting that. And obviously, you know, if he doesn't get sacked, I'll be absolutely shocked. If he doesn't get sacked, I'll be absolutely shocked. But the fact that there's a meeting going on right now and the fact that it's confirmed is just crazy. It will cost United £7.5 million to sack Ollie, and that's not the end of the world. And all I want to say is, Zidane, divorce your wife. Zidane, go divorce your wife. because United are going to offer you good money. And I know your wife doesn't want to live in Manchester, but Ollie's going. The Glazers apparently are going to offer Zidane good money. I'm saying, Zidane, who cares if your wife don't want to come to Manchester? Divorce her and come marry Ronaldo. Come marry Ronaldo. That's all I'm saying. That's what I feel about it. Look, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a goner, guys. Look, as the news comes in and reported, but we've got Romano, the Times, the Sun, loads of sources have basically said that, you know, Ole's out, Ole's done, Ole is over. So we will report the news as it comes in. But I want to say this on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and I know he hasn't been officially sacked yet, but from what we know, he's probably going to be sacked. If Ole is Manchester United manager this time next week, I will eat my globe live. I will try and eat this live if he's Manchester United manager this time next week, because I'll be absolutely shocked. So there you go. Subscribe for that if you believe he's going to stay. But I want to say this on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I like Ole as a human being. I have no personal issues against Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I've never been one of those fans that are like, screw Ole, Ole this, Ole that. You know, I've always just been critical of Ole and said I don't believe in his decisions. I don't like that he picks favourites. I don't like his tactics. I think he's out of his depth, Manchester United, and I will stick by that. And I feel like, although Ole being sacked in a weird way makes me happy that he's been sacked, I still feel wrong to celebrate that Ole's going to be sacked. I feel like it would be wrong of me to celebrate that Ole's going to get sacked, because you know what? We've had a lot of problems at Manchester United, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer isn't the biggest problem at Manchester United. And a lot of people need to remember this. You know, we can be Ole out all we want, but just because Ole's getting sacked and there's potential that we could get someone like Zinedine Zidane in, or Erik ten Hag or Brendan Rodgers, it doesn't guarantee success. It doesn't guarantee success because, first of all, we need to make sure the coaching staff go with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But second of all, the biggest problem at Manchester United is our owners, and we're not guaranteed success until our owners go, because our owners have allowed this to go on for so long. Our owners at Manchester United had 2 weeks to sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in the international break, had Ralf Rangnick and Antonio Conte practically asking for the job, and ignored them. We lost 5-0 to our rivals Liverpool at home, and they ignored the fact. They now, after having 2 weeks to sack Ole, ignoring Rangnick, ignoring Conte, they're now in panic mode, trying to get Zidane in, now sacking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer when we've got another game in 2 days. Now, that is the biggest problem at our club, not Ole. Any top club would have sacked Ole, probably after Leicester, most definitely after Liverpool, but they would definitely have sacked any manager in the international break. They've picked the worst time to sack him, and we're panicking right now because Brendan Rodgers is off the back of a 3-0 loss. So although it's all about Zidane to Manchester United right now, remember, I still think we're more likely to get Brendan Rodgers than Zinedine Zidane. That's how I feel. The Times Sport came out an hour ago and said the Glazer family has instructed Manchester United officials to further accelerate attempts to persuade Zinedine Zidane to take over the managerial position mid-season at Manchester United, and there have been an increasing financial offer. Guys, smash a like on the video if you have not already, and do make sure you're subscribed to Alice Talks Football if you're not subscribed to the channel. I just see a super chat that I want to quickly comment on. I don't want to ignore that. So thank you very much for the super chat. Who would you take when he's gone? I would take Zidane. My first choice would be Erik ten Hag, but realistically, it will be Zidane, Brendan Rodgers, Rangnick, or an interim. The last thing I want to see is someone like Darren Fletcher. The last thing I want to see is someone like Darren Fletcher. I absolutely lose my shite if we got someone like Darren Fletcher, and I'd absolutely lose it. Honestly, we need someone that's going to come in and make improvement, because you can sack Ole, but that coaching staff needs to go just as much as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And the source caught offside said that talks inside Manchester United regarding the possible sacking include Kieran McKenna, Mike Phelan, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And apparently, according to Court Offside, not only is Ole going to get sacked, but we're having talks to sack Kieran McKenna and Mike Phelan as well, by the way, guys, as well. Someone's asked me about Ralf Rangnick. Look, Rangnick wants the Manchester United job. United don't want Rangnick because United believe that Rangnick will be difficult to work with. But look, as the news comes in, I'm going to keep you up to date, guys. We've got nearly 500 people watching, by the way, so please do go ahead and subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're not subscribed to the channel. There's news reports and leaks that Ole's in a meeting and is about to be sacked tonight. I will be live again tonight if Ole is officially sacked. So although we've been told Ole's very likely to be sacked and he's in a meeting to be sacked and he's about to be sacked, officially Ole hasn't been sacked. I believe Ollie will be sacked. Of what we know, of what we've been told, I do believe Ollie will be sacked, but he's not officially been sacked. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you do subscribe down below, because there will be another live stream tonight once we find out if Ollie's officially been sacked. This news was reporting on the news that there's a meeting going on. He's about to be sacked, talking about what Romano said, talking about other sources said. But when he's officially sacked, there will be another live stream. And I believe that he's going to be officially sacked in the next 24 hours. I'd be absolutely shocked if he isn't. So I'm sure there's going to be another live stream on the channel. So make sure you subscribe, so you stay tuned for that. Smash a like on the video if you haven't already. We're going to go for 500 likes, guys. We've got 500 people watching. Can we go for 500 likes? It costs absolutely nothing to hit that like button. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do go ahead and subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football. If you want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, updates, watch-alongs, match reactions and previews, do subscribe, do smash a like. But back into the news, back into the content, back into what you want to know. Now, first of all, I want to quickly just talk about the Watford game. Can you believe Watford game is probably Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's last game as Manchester United manager? I believe that this Watford game has been Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's last game as Manchester United manager. And the irony is, in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's last game as Manchester United manager, who were the two worst players on the pitch? Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's last game as Manchester United manager, the players that let him down today were Harry Maguire being sent off and Scott McTominay put in another woeful performance. And they're Ole's favourites. Which player was better than any other outfield player today? Which player showed up today for Manchester United? Donny van de Beek. And do you think that it's interesting? Do you think that it's interesting that, you know, all of a sudden, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, in his last game for Manchester United, the player he treated like shit, the player he barely played, was his best player, and the two players he played week in, week out because they were his favourites, were his worst players? Do you think that, does that not make you laugh that in Ole's last game for Manchester United, you know, McTominay and Maguire, who he played week in, week out, because it was clear and obvious Ole had favouritism to McTominay and Maguire, were the two worst players. And the player that Ole didn't have any favouritism to, the player that Ole treated like shit, Van de Beek, yeah, he was his best player. And I just think, well, look at that, Ole. You got yourself sacked. And look, I wanted Ole to succeed and all that. I did. But I have no sympathy with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer being sacked. And this might sound bad, but the reason I have no sympathy in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer being sacked is because he did it to himself. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, 1,100% did it to himself. He got himself sacked. You know, he 100% got himself sacked. And I have no sympathy with Ole, because Ole consisted with McTominay and Maguire. McTominay and Maguire have been Manchester United's two worst players. Whether you like them or not, McTominay and Maguire have been our two worst players for a while. McTominay, Maguire and Fred. And he sticks with McTominay, he sticks with Maguire, who are his two worst players today, and is reluctant to start Donny van de Beek, even though McTominay wasn't fully fit. And all of a sudden, Ole, in his last game, gives Donny van de Beek 45 minutes. And what do we see in Ole's last game as Manchester United manager? We see in Ole's last game as Manchester United manager that Donny van de Beek can do a better job than Scott McTominay in the pivot. And it had to take Ole in his last game with nothing left to save his job to give Donny that chance. Ole only gave Donny 45 minutes because he had nothing left in his locker. And it had to take for Ole to be sacked for Donny to have a chance. And that's why I won't feel sorry for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I'm sad that he's not worked out. I'm sad that he's going to get sacked. I would like him to work it out because I like him as a person. But I won't feel sorry for him because he's done it to himself. He's employed his friends as coaches, which has been no help to himself. But he's playing the same players week in, week out. McTominay, Maguire, Luke Shaw, Fred should have all been dropped. And he did not drop them once. These are the players that lost 5-0 versus Liverpool. These are the players that got destroyed by Manchester City, destroyed by Leicester, and now destroyed by Watford. How would Ole Gunnar Solskjaer expect to turn it around if he wasn't going to play someone else? If he wasn't going to drop his favourites? And that is why I'm not feel sorry for Ole being sacked. Because in his last game, Donny van de Beek was his best player, and Harry Maguire was his worst player. And if it wasn't for the Harry Maguire red card, Scott McTominay would have been his worst player. So Ole's two favourites were his worst player in his last game, and Ole's least favourite is his best player. And that's because Ole, as a manager, picked favouritism over what's best for the club. And that's why I don't feel sorry for Ole. I like Ole, I have a lot of respect for Ole, but he picked favouritism over what's best for the club. Because we clearly saw today, in the 45 minutes that Donny van de Beek was on the pitch, he did more than I think Fred and McTominay have done all season. Donny created 3 chances plus 1 big chance. He got an assist for the offside goal and he scored a goal. Donny van de Beek could have got a goal and 3 assists today if Ronaldo had his finishing boots on. And I will not feel sorry for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer one bit. I do not feel sorry for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer one bit. Because he let favouritism, he let his favourites get in the way of what's best for this club. He was too stubborn to give Donny a chance until he had nothing left but to play Donny. that he lost his job on playing favourites. And as much as I like Ole, as much as I want him to succeed, you lost your job on playing favourites. And I have absolutely zero sympathy for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I have absolutely zero sympathy for him because he just played his favourites to the end and he lost his job on it. And I can't feel sorry for him. I really, really can't. Smash a like on the video if you have not already, and do subscribe to Alice Talks Football if you're not subscribed to the channel. If you want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, and more, go ahead and make sure you are subscribed to Alice Talks Football. Unofficial reports have come in saying that Manchester United have decided to sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but no confirmation has been made. There's been reports that right now Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is in a meeting with Manchester United and is about to be sacked, but it's not been officially confirmed, but I think it's about to be confirmed, guys, so do stay tuned for that. Thank you very much, George Kester, for the super chat. Do you think Zidane will want the job after these performances? I'm sure he watched the games. Zidane's going to inherit a squad with Ronaldo, Varane, Pogba, Bruno, Rashford, Sancho. I thought Sancho looked quite bright today. Donny van de Beek. Zidane likes the squad, yeah. I don't think it's about, the current performances. I just think Zidane will only want to come to Manchester United if he's going to be offered good money, backing. The reason Zidane doesn't want to come to Manchester United is because it's in England and his wife doesn't want to live in Manchester. So I say, Zidane, go divorce your wife. But that's a bit of a thing to say. But look, will we get Zidane or not? I don't know. Zidane's, the news coming out is that we're in for Zidane. The news coming out right now from the Times, from a lot of sources, is we're in talks with Zidane and we're about to sack Ole. That's what's coming out. I'm waiting for, obviously, official reports that Ole's been sacked, but unofficial reports are saying that he's in a meeting right now. The board has decided to sack him. He's going to be sacked. That's sort of what's coming out. By the way, we got another super chat saying, I think Roy Keane as interim manager for a few weeks could be so good or so bad. I can't decide, though. I think he would bollock them and bring them all the United mentality back, says MRO Max. Thank you very much for the super chat. Look, Roy Keane as manager, no, he's got not much managerial experience, but Roy Keane in the dressing room as a figure, absolutely all for. Absolutely all for Roy Keane to come in the dressing room. I tell you what, he'd probably make Fred, McTominay, Maguire, he'd probably make them all cry. Is Zidane's wife a control freak? She just doesn't want to live in Manchester. And look, I mean, I want Zidane at Manchester United, but to be fair, if you've lived in Madrid, do you really want to go to Manchester? Do you know what I mean? It's cold. It's not even about Manchester, it's the weather. If I lived in Spain, I wouldn't want to live in England. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter where you go. Zidane didn't want the job last week, but apparently Zidane is the person Manchester United want to replace Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. That has just come out, by the way, guys. Smash a like on the video if you have not already, and if you're not subscribed to Alice Talks Football, please do go and subscribe down below, because when we get an official announcement of Ole's sacking, we will be live again tonight. I'm live right now to talk about Manchester United Watford, give my review, but also talk about reports coming in that Ole is in a meeting right now and the board have decided to sack Ole. Obviously, officially, Ole's not been sacked, no action's been taken, but from what we've heard from the Times, from what Fabrizio Romano said, it's very, very likely Ole will be sacked tonight. So I'm going to keep you updated for the next hour on all the news coming in regarding Ole, because it's very, very likely he's going to be sacked tonight. As well as, if he is officially sacked, there will be a live stream tonight. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do go ahead and subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football, because the moment Ole is officially sacked and it's announced that he's sacked, I will be live. I mean, he could be officially sacked and announced as sacked officially in this video, but what we know from Romano, what we know from the Times, is it's just talks going on suggesting his sacking. Court offside said that Phelan and McKenna are likely to be sacked with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. The Times have said that the Glazer family have instructed Manchester United officials to go all out for Zinedine Zidane as well. And apparently Manchester United are doing their best to convince Zinedine Zidane to come to Manchester United. We've got to remember Brendan Rodgers just lost 3-0 to Leicester, so do keep an eye on Brendan Rodgers to Manchester United as well. Ole out. Smash a like on the video if you are Ole out. If you're a Manchester United fan and you do want Ole to be sacked, do smash a like on the video, because I'm Ole out. And if you want Ole out, smash a like on the video. Let's see how many people watching this live stream are Ole out. So it costs nothing to hit that like button. If you are Ole out, hit that like button. But I just want to say this again. I like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and I did want him to succeed at Manchester United. As a United fan, I really wanted Ole to succeed at Manchester United, and I'd only recently become Ole out. Even when we lost to the Europa League final to Villarreal, I wasn't actually Ole out. Even when we lost the Europa League final, I was like, you know what? Give him a transfer window, give him a backing. I thought Ole did a good job to get second. We started this season, and I said in the summer, I said, I'm Ole in. I said in the summer, I'm Ole in. This was in the summer. I'm not Ole in now, obviously. In the summer, I said, look, I'm still Ole in. He's been given Varane, Sancho, and Ronaldo. I'm Ole in, and I will be Ole in and unless he keeps playing McFred and keeps playing negative football. I said, I'm Ollie in, and I'm going to see what he does with the 3 players he's got. Now he's been backed, I want to see what Ollie does. I'm not going to go Ollie out. I'm going to see what he can do when he's been back, because he did get a second without really being back the season before. So I said, I'm still Ollie in. But then I started to say, if Ollie continues to play McFred, if Ollie continues to pick his favourites, if Ollie continues to do the same favouritism FC, the same negative football, I will be Ollie out. And what we've seen from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer this season is favourites FC. It's 100% favourites FC. And I said earlier, the irony of it is Ollie's 2 favourites, Scott McTominay and Harry Maguire, were the worst 2 players on the pitch today. And Ollie's least favourite player, Donny van der Beek, was the best player on the pitch today. And Ollie's last game was Manchester United could be Donny van der Beek being his best player and Scott and Fred being his worst player. And that's why I went for sorry for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because you know what? He's got himself sacked. He got himself sacked from playing favouritism. And as much as I wanted Ollie to succeed, I always said, look, if Ollie continues to pick favourites, if Ollie continues the way he's going, I will be Ollie out. If it's McFred this, McFred that, if Ollie continues to play his favourites, I'll be Ollie out. If we continue to see defensive negative football, I'll be Ollie out. We've seen negative defensive football. We've seen Ollie picking his favourites. I am now officially Ollie out. I've been Ollie out for the last few months, but I said that in the summer. People are saying that the announcement of Ollie being sacked could come in at 8 p.m, guys. So we're going to be live up until 8 p.m, because apparently there could be an Ollie sacking announcement at 8 p.m. coming out, which will be really, really interesting. I want to talk about something, and I know we've got the Fabrizio Romano news on my screen, but let me look at this. Let me look at the Premier League table. Let me look at the Premier League table, yeah. I want to show you something, so I think you can see that here. This is Manchester United. We are in 7th. Arsenal and Wolves had 0 points after 3 games this season. Arsenal have 0 points after 3 games this season. They are now above us in the Premier League table. Is that not embarrassing? You know, if Tottenham win tomorrow, they go above us. If Everton win tomorrow, they go above us. We could drop down to 10th place. So any manager that comes in, you can't expect him to just click it and us be top of the league. He's got some work to do. Because unfortunately, the board and the owners at Manchester United left it so long that we are now in a position where we've got a lot of climbing to do. If we'd have sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer after Liverpool, we would have been in a much better position. Because if we'd have sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer after the Liverpool game, we might have 6 more points. And we might be sitting there with 23 points in 4th place comfortably. If we'd have sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer after Liverpool, we could be on 23 points sitting in 4th place right now. And you'd say we're still in a title race, because any manager could get us back in the title race. We've waited so long to be 12 points off the title. And whether you're Ollie out, Ollie in or not, I think it's an absolute disgrace that our owners have waited until we're 12 points off the title after 12 games to take action on our manager, when we could have sacked him 3 games ago and we could have been 6 points better off. Because any manager that came in, if we were 6 points off Chelsea, you'd still believe that we could win the title with an elite manager. You still believe we could get the title race. But any manager that comes in now, he's just got to get in top 4, because he's been done so over by this bad start. If Joel Glazer grows some balls and sacks Ollie, the thing is, everyone at Manchester United has decided Ollie should be sacked. The situation is, and this is what I've been told, and this is what Romano said, and all of this, everyone at the Manchester United board has come to the conclusion Ollie should be sacked. They're having a meeting now to discuss his dismissal, to discuss his compensation. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer actually said bye to his coaches and teammates after the game versus Watford. This is what's come out. However, Joel Glazer will have the final decision. Although everyone at Manchester United have decided this, we've got to wait for Joel Glazer to make his decision. So will Joel sack Ollie, or will Joel be another little shitty Joel and make silly decisions? Who knows? Manchester United right now with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer an emergency board meeting. The emergency board meeting to discuss Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's dismissal, according to the Times, took place at 7. So it's very, very likely there could be an announcement at 8. Now, look, I'm going to sit here and say I've been told from some sources it's 99% likely Ollie's sacked. We know that Ollie's in a meeting right now. It's very, very likely Ollie's been sacked, but he has not been sacked yet. And I believe he won't be. I believe he'll be sacked by the Villarreal game. But if he is manager for the Villarreal game, that's an absolute disgrace. If he's manager for the Villarreal game, I'll be absolutely shocked. I'll be absolutely shocked, and I don't think he will be. But when he's officially sacked, there will also be a live stream. So make sure you subscribe to Alice Talks Up if you're not subscribed to the channel, because right now coming in is that Ollie is about to be sacked. Talks are going on and all of that. But when he's officially sacked, I will be live as well. Once the club announces he's sacked, once it's confirmed he's sacked, I will be live as well. And we're waiting to 8 o'clock because someone's saying there could be an announcement at 8 o'clock regarding Ollie's future. He will get sacked, calling it 99% gone. I believe he's 99% gone. From what I've been told, from what the sources are saying, it looks like he's he's just been sacked. You know, if he's in a meeting at 7 o'clock, I think I titled this video, "Ollie's just been sacked." Because it's 7:45 now. He went in a meeting at 7 o'clock to discuss his dismissal. He's probably just been sacked now. I'd be very, very shocked if he is still Manchester United manager. Let him go to and start from a smaller club. May with time come back to United. His experience is lacking. Let go and build from. Maybe, but I wouldn't take Ollie back. Ollie could take over Cambridge United, get them promoted to the Premier League, and I don't know if I'd want him back, because it's like, well, look what he did at United. He ruined so many players. He played his favourites. He was a negative manager. I think I like Ollie as a person, but one of the reasons I'm Ollie out is not only is negative football, favouritism, and he's ruining key players. Donny van de Beek and Jadon Sancho today, they were the two bright sparks in a crap team. Down the right-hand side, you know, Manchester United have been a side over the last 5 years where we've been very predominant on the left side. For the last 5 years, Manchester United have looked much better on the left side, been very predominant on the left side. In the second half versus Watford, we were a threat down that right-hand side. We weren't great, but we were a threat down that right-hand side. And that was Donny van de Beek, that was Jadon Sancho on that right-hand side. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is ruining these players' careers by not playing them. When Donny and Sancho were actually a threat on the right-hand side, and probably two of our best outfield players today versus Watford. Please sack Ole immediately. It looks like he's about to be sacked. Some people are telling me he's officially been sacked, but no one reliable has told me that he's officially been sacked. And all of that. Allardyce is available. I don't know if I want Sam Allardyce, believe it or not. Believe it or not, I don't know if I want Sam Allardyce. Do you know what I really want to see with a new manager? Is I want to see the best out of Jadon Sancho. I want to see the best out of Donny van de Beek. I want to see the best out of Bruno, because you know this isn't talked about enough, and I don't criticise Bruno that much because of how brilliant he's been. But I think Bruno had his worst game in a Manchester United shirt today. I thought Bruno was absolutely atrocious. Remember, Paul Pogba said after the Leicester game, something needs to change. Remember Paul Pogba said that something needs to change at this club after the Leicester game as well. And, you know, Paul Pogba was right. Something does need to change. And that is the manager, that is the coaches and all that. Smash a like on the video if Donny van de Beek was your man of the match for Manchester United versus Watford, by the way, guys. I want to show you something on my screen, but this is sackable form. So let's go to Manchester United. Okay. Let me look at it. Look at this. So we lost 4-1. I mean, it's pretty obvious he's going to get sacked, because this is a team that's meant to be in a title challenge, yeah? This is a team that's meant to be in a title challenge. Look at this. 4-1, 2-0, 2-2. 3 disgraceful performances in a row. Even we drew 2-2 at Atalanta, it was a disgraceful performance. So we've had 3 disgraceful performances in a row. Spurs was an anomaly because they were shitter than us. Disgraceful, 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 disgraceful. So Manchester United's last good performance was the 11th of September versus Newcastle. It was our last good performance. Okay, this was disgraceful. This was disgraceful. This was disgraceful. 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 The one anomaly. Disgraceful. In 2 months, Manchester United have only had 1 good game. In 2 months, we've lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Premier League games. We've lost 5 of our last 7 Premier League games in 2 months. So if anyone that believes Ollie isn't getting sacked tonight, you're stupid, because I know this board should have sacked Ollie after Liverpool. I know this board should have sacked Ollie definitely after Manchester City, and I was shocked that they didn't. But I think they physically can't not sack Ollie now, because look, Villarreal, Chelsea and Arsenal are going to wank us. They're absolutely going to ruin us. If you look at how bad we've been, we're going to get destroyed by Villarreal, Chelsea and Arsenal. And I think the board know that, and they need to get a change of manager in before then. And look, the problem is Manchester United have only left themselves 2 days to get a new manager in, when they could have had it 2 weeks to do it in the international break, because they're run by idiots. But I believe Ollie will be sacked. It's not official that he's been sacked, but right now, for everyone that's just joined and wants to know the situation, right now as I speak, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is in a meeting with the Manchester United board discussing his future. There's a meeting going on right now with Ollie, the board, the Glazers, the owners. There's an online meeting going on right now discussing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's future. And the situation is that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is about to be dismissed if Joel Glazer agrees that he's dismissed. So Ollie hasn't been officially sacked, but it's very likely that he could have just been sacked. We have to wait and see, but it's very, very likely in the next 24 hours that we will get a notification saying Ollie's been officially sacked as Manchester United manager. But nothing's happened yet. But please do subscribe to the channel, because when he is officially sacked, I will be live. So I'm doing a live right now to update you on the news coming in, because obviously there's very, very likely that in the next 10 minutes we could get a notification saying Ollie's been sacked. You know, there's a rumour that there's going to be news released at 8, so we're going to wait till 8. But I will be live again tonight if Ollie gets officially sacked tonight. So I'm just keeping you up to date on all the latest news, plus talking about my thoughts on the Watford game. Smash a like on the video, by the way, guys, if you've not hit that like button. And please do subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're not subscribed to the channel as well, as it will be very much appreciated. Every like, every subscribe is very much appreciated as well. I think one thing that obviously needs to change at Manchester United is the captain as well. I want to talk about Harry Maguire. I want to talk about his performance. I mean, look at this. I mean, he is just a meme. He absolutely is a meme. Harry Maguire's made himself against the meme. He's made himself a meme, and I don't feel sorry for Harry because he made himself look like an absolute. Twat. But what I do want to talk about is I do actually want to talk about Harry Maguire, and I think he needs to be stripped of Manchester United captaincy. And I'm not a Maguire hater. I'm not one of those. It's like Maguire's a fridge. He's rubbish. He's rubbish. He's rubbish. I'll criticise Maguire. I'll take the piss out of Maguire. But I am not a Harry Maguire hater. I'm not a Harry Maguire hater in the slightest. I've always said, because I've seen what Harry did at the end of last season. I've seen what Harry did in the Euros. I look at Harry Maguire and I look at Luke Shaw. And Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw have been atrocious this season. Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw have been an absolute disgrace this season. But also when I look at Harry Maguire and also when I look at Luke Shaw, I go, I know they're good players. We saw it in the Euros. We saw it last season, at the end of last season. Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw, I think, are really struggling because they haven't had a break from the Euros. I think they're actually burnt out. I think Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw are struggling from burnout. Maguire was injured when he played against Leicester. Although he was disgraceful versus Leicester, Maguire was injured. He was 10 days away from fitness. But we have an incompetent manager that will play injured players. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a manager that will play injured players rather than fully fit ones. Scott McTominay today wasn't fully fit, and he started at Donny van de Beek. And I don't know why Scott McTominay started over Donny van de Beek, because when we did a straight sub, Donny for Scott, how much better did we look? Twice as good. We absolutely looked better. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, continued to play Maguire. And Maguire's been atrocious this season. But I know if Maguire had a rest, if Maguire had a break, I know in form Maguire's a good centre-back. I have no issue with Maguire and Varane being our centre-back partnership. No issue. I do like Eric Bailly as well, but he's just very unreliable because he can't stay fit. I have no issue with it whatsoever. Because I know Maguire's a good manager. Do you know what I mean? But what I think about the situation and what really is he just shouldn't be captain. Harry Maguire should not be captain at Manchester United. He should not be captain of Manchester United. And I don't think it takes genius to figure that out. Harry Maguire does not deserve to be Manchester United captain. He threw his armband on the floor. He's complaining about being criticised. If you're Manchester United captain, you've got to be able to take criticism when you've been playing bad. And you do get horrible people out there that have been abusive to Harry Maguire. I do feel sorry for him in that case. But you've got to take criticism. And he's throwing his armband on the floor. He can't take criticism. He's putting his fingers in his ear when he scores versus Albania. And he's getting a red card in a game like that. If you've been disgraceful for 2 months, you've got to put it on your shoulders. You've not got to complain. You've got to take the criticism. But we always said, even before Harry Maguire was bad, we always said he wasn't a captain because he's never the one shouting on the pitch. Bruno Fernandes is a captain. Ronaldo is a captain. Harry Maguire's never been a captain for me as well. And I think a new manager, when they come in, whoever the new manager is, whoever comes in after Ollie, for me, they've got to take Harry Maguire's armband away from him. They've got to take Harry Maguire's armband away from him because he's an absolute disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. Someone's just tweeted that they're waiting for final confirmation message to know what's next. But apparently there's a meeting going on right now of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Manchester United board, and Ollie is on the verge of being sacked. That's the news that's coming in right now, but obviously we're waiting for updates and all of that. But look, if there's a meeting going on right now, all I'm going to say is I think it's very, very likely that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is sacked as Manchester United manager. I think it's very, very likely. We obviously want Mr. Zinedine Zidane in. This is who we want. We want Mr. Zidane, don't we? Harry Maguire's a grade A monkey. He needs to lose captaincy. He's just full of mistakes as well. And United's real problem is the owners and the board. They don't know anything about football and they don't truly want to win. Mediocrity is fine with them. I agree. Manchester United are a club and the board only care about top four. The board only care about top four. The board only care about their top four revenue. That is the situation at Manchester United. And it's an embarrassing situation. It's a really embarrassing situation because, we are Manchester United. We are kind of the biggest club in England by fan base, but we don't act like the biggest club in England because our owners want us to be the Arsenal, where they only care about top four. It doesn't matter what we do. Our owners, unfortunately, they only care about top 4. And it's a shame. It's a real shame at Manchester United. It's a real shame that our owners only care about top 4. But that's what it is. And at the end of the day, we can sack Ollie and we can get Zidane in. But sacking Ollie and getting Zidane in, it doesn't confirm anything. If we sack Ollie and we get Zidane in, it doesn't confirm that anything's going to change. It doesn't confirm that anything's going to change at Manchester United. And the reason it doesn't confirm anything's going to change at Man United is because, Mourinho failed. Mourinho didn't fail at any of his clubs before Manchester United. He failed at Manchester United. Jose Mourinho failed. Van Gaal failed. Moyes failed at Manchester United. And, Moyes has been absolutely incredible for West Ham. So Moyes, Mourinho and Van Gaal, who've all done good jobs at every club at Manchester United, failed. They failed at Manchester United. And I look at that and I go, well, we can replace Ollie with Zidane, but who knows if Zidane will be a failure or not. I think we have the best squad we've had since Sir Alex Ferguson. And I think, it's in a position where we've got a good squad, all we need is an elite manager, and success should surely be guaranteed. But the sad situation and the sad truth is, success isn't guaranteed. Success isn't guaranteed at Manchester United until those owners are out the club. Like, they're not, and that worries me because Zidane doesn't want to come to Manchester United. There's rumours about him coming in, but he does come in and he inherits a great squad. But how do we know he's going to turn it around? How do we know he's going to win? Because the board have come out and said, and I think the Manchester Evening News reported this a couple of weeks ago, even if Manchester United get a new manager, they're not going to be backed in January. The board won't spend any money in January. And if you're ambitious owners, you're spending money in January, you're getting a new manager in. And that's not the case at Manchester United. And again, that's something that I look at and I just think that's really embarrassing as well. That's really embarrassing. And all of that. Has Ollie just been sacked? Not 100%. There's not official confirmation. We know right now Ollie is in a meeting, and the Times came out and said that Manchester United called an emergency board meeting at 7 p.m. today to discuss the dismissal of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's manager. It's an online meeting and it's scheduled for 7 p.m. with Solskjaer's compensation terms on its agenda. So there's a meeting right now, according to the Times, with Manchester United, the emergency board, to discuss Solskjaer's dismissal. According to the Times, at 7 o'clock, Ollie went in the meeting to discuss his dismissal. So it's likely that he could have just been sacked right now. It's very likely that he could have just been sacked right now. Because if he's in a meeting right now to discuss his dismissal, it's very likely he could have been sacked just now. Romano said that the board have decided to sack Ollie, but they're waiting on Joel Glazer's decision. So really what's going on is, has Joel Glazer said give Ollie time, or has Joel Glazer said sack Ollie? Because there's a meeting going on right now. And we don't know if he's not officially been sacked, but, the title of this video is, has he just been sacked? We need Ralph, says the wolf among us. I would take Ralph Rangnick. Yes, 100%. I would take anyone at this rate. It's that bad. Well, not anyone, but do you know what I mean? We've got to a point at Manchester United where it is so, the football we're watching is so bad at the moment that there is a lot of players that I would take. A lot of managers I'd take. I would take Brendan Rodgers. I know he's just lost 3-0. I know he's not my first choice. I know he's not the best manager in the world, but I'm in a position where, you know what, I would take Brendan Rodgers at this rate. And, I take a lot of people because what we're seeing right now is so bad that I don't think I can deal with another bad performance after another bad performance after another bad performance, if you get me. I do want to do, while we're waiting for some more news to come out. Now, there's rumours that there could be an announcement at 8 o'clock. When Manchester United announce news and when a player manager is being sacked, it's likely to be announced on the o'clock. So we are going to stay live to just after 8 o'clock to see if anything's going to be announced. But I do want to do player ratings for the game versus Watford, because this is my match reaction versus Watford. But obviously, all the news about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer being sacked and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in a meeting right now for him, and he's just about to be sacked, coming out, obviously came out at the same time as me wanting to do my live match reaction to the Watford game. So I do want to do player ratings and all that and discuss each individual player from the game while we wait to see if any more news updates come up. But for everyone joining, Ollie's in a meeting right now discussing his future, and it said that, and Fabrizio Romano and the Times and a lot of journalists said that it's a real possibility that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be sacked. There's a real possibility that he will be sacked, and lots of sources are saying he's very unlikely to be manager by the Villarreal game. Reports are saying that he's even said goodbye to teammates and all of that. But even when we were told that Ollie was going to be sacked after Liverpool, when we were in talks for Conte, we never got official confirmation of a meeting going on like right after the game. When a club sacks their manager, they normally have a meeting right after the game ASAP. And even when we lost 5-0 to Liverpool, we waited 2 days to have an emergency meeting. Even when we lost 5-0 to Liverpool and we're all convinced Ollie was going to be sacked. I was convinced Ollie was going to be sacked when we lost 5-0 to Liverpool, and I was wrong. But even when we lost 5-0 to Liverpool, Manchester United waited 2 days to have that emergency meeting. Manchester United are having an emergency meeting right now. And I think if Manchester United weren't planning on sacking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, they wouldn't be having an emergency meeting right now. I want to do player ratings for the Manchester United versus Watford game while we wait in the next minute to see if any news updates comes out. So everybody let me know what you're going to score each individual player out of 10 into the live chat. I will be reading out a few live chats in a second, but David De Gea, he conceded 4 goals, but he saved 2 penalties. So I think he's really a 7.5, but I'm going to give him an 8 because everyone else was crap and he was probably our best player. So David De Gea saved 2 penalties today. I'll give him an 8. For me, Wan-Bissaka wasn't one of our worst defenders. He wasn't great, but he definitely wasn't our worst defenders. So I give him a 4. And again, I give Lindelof a solid 4. Wan-Bissaka and Lindelof, I'm going to give them both solid 4s for today's performance because they were bad. They conceded 4 goals. But again, Wan-Bissaka and Lindelof, it's funny. We played atrocious. We scored 4 goals. And Wan-Bissaka and Lindelof weren't great, but they just weren't as bad as others on the pitch. So I'll be giving them a 4 for that embarrassment out of 10. Maguire has to get a 1 out of 10. I mean, if I could give Maguire a -1 out of 10, I'd give him a -1 out of 10 for today's performance. He should not be Manchester United manager. It was an absolute disgrace. Manchester United kept an absolute disgrace. He got sent off. And you know what the funny thing was? In the first half, I said that Maguire's been our best outfield player. If you watched my watch along, I said in the first half, Harry Maguire has been Manchester United's best outfield player. Harry Maguire's been Manchester United's best outfield player. I said that in the first half, yeah. And all of a sudden in the second half, he gets sent off and he's atrocious. And if it was off the first half, I'd have given Maguire a 6, but second half is atrocious. Luke Shaw, I give a 3. Wasn't as bad as Maguire. Got injured. You can tell Luke Shaw's not fit. I'm actually, you know what? I'm going to say this now. Luke Shaw is not fully fit. Luke Shaw needs a break from football. Luke Shaw is playing bad because it's so obvious he's not fully fit. Luke Shaw broke his ribs in the Euros. Played in the Euros, then went straight back to Manchester United because of Teller's injury. Luke Shaw never got a break between the Euros and Manchester United, and he had a broken rib. He's been injured. He's still getting injured. Luke Shaw's a player with a big injury record, but Luke Shaw's playing every week with his big injury record, and that makes me think that Luke Shaw's injured, but Ollie's playing him anyway. And I think Luke Shaw's playing injured, and I sympathise a bit with Luke Shaw because we know he's a good player. I just think he's playing injured. I'm not going to call him one season wonder. I think he's playing injured. Oh, my light just flashed there. Samuel Luckhurst from the Manchester Evening News has just come out and said that Manchester United players expect Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to be sacked. Samuel Luckhurst gets inside information from Manchester United players from the club itself, and he's come out and said that he expects Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to be sacked. That's just come out right now from Samuel Luckhurst that Manchester United players apparently expect Ole to be sacked. And Samuel Luckhurst has probably got that from one of the Manchester United players. So that's a breaking story, guys, that's just come out, by the way. Let's go on to the Matic's player rating out of 10, guys. Let me know in the chat what you're giving Matic out of 10. People saying Matic 4, McTominay 2. People saying McTominay 0, Matic 5. I'm going to give Matic a 4. I think he was much better in the second half, but again, he was a poor player, but he wasn't one of the worst players. I'll be giving Matic a 4 out of 10 for today's performance. Let me know what you're giving Matic below. Lots of people and all of that. Confirmed. I don't think Ole sacking's been confirmed yet, but I am checking my Twitter every minute to see if it's been confirmed, but I think it's very, very likely. McTominay, 0. We're going to go on to McTominay's player rating for the Watford game. I think you've got to give McTominay a 1 out of 10. He played 45 minutes, and I tell you what, we looked better with 10 men because Scott McTominay was like playing with 10 men anyway because he was overrun. He gave away the penalty. I know that was partly Bruno's fault. Scott McTominay was absolutely atrocious today. So just like Harry Maguire, I'm giving Scott McTominay a 1 out of 10 because he got a yellow card. He would have got sent off. He was very close to being sent off because he was lucky he didn't get a yellow card for the penalty foul. Scott McTominay could have got sent off. It's really funny. In Ollie's last game for Manchester United, Scott McTominay and Harry Maguire nearly gets sent off and Donny scores a goal. Maguire gets sent off, Scott nearly gets sent off, and Donny scores a goal, and that's Ollie's last game. And that is just coincidence. That's funny. Bruno's worst game in a Manchester United shirt, guys. A lot of people are saying Scott won. Not people saying Scott McTominay won. For Bruno's player rating, this has been Bruno's worst game in a Manchester United shirt versus Watford. But Bruno did that one beautiful pass to Rashford, which almost made it 1-0. And that was individual brilliance from Bruno. And Bruno's had a crap game, but he provided some individually brilliant moments. So I'm going to give Maguire a 1. I'm going to give McTominay a 1. And I'm going to give Bruno a 3 because he did produce some moments of individual brilliance that could have maybe got us back in the game if strikers have shooting boots on. I'm going to give Jadon Sancho a 6, guys. Now, Jadon Sancho, if he was any other player, he would have got a 5 for his performance. But when Jadon Sancho was on the ball, he looked bright. He put in 2 good crosses. He moved the ball. And I have to say, in the second half versus Watford, we looked quite good on the right-hand side. Donny and Sancho linking up quite well in their second half versus Watford. The two bright sparks on that pitch were Donny and Sancho on the right-hand side versus Watford. And for the last 5 years, we've always been complaining about the right-hand side and saying it all happens down the left-hand side. For the first time in the last 5 years at Manchester United, the right-hand side looked better than the left-hand side. So I give Sancho a 6 out of 10, but I'd say he was really a 5. But because of his lack of opportunity, because of the squad he's playing in, because of the system he's playing in, he was one of the better players. Marcus Rashford's got to be a 4 for me. He didn't really get much service, not particularly his fault, but he wasn't particularly good. He didn't look fully fit. Ronaldo's got to be a 4 for me, because he actually did get service in the second half and he didn't take his chances. But it's not on Ronaldo that we lost, because it's on the attack, it's on the defence. We've got over 690 people watching, by the way, guys. We're just doing player ratings. I'm just about to get into Donny van de Beek's player rating, but please do make sure you subscribe to Alice Talks Football if you're not subscribed to the channel for daily Manchester United content. We do live watch-alongs, match reactions, previews on the channel. We're going to be live for the Manchester United versus Villarreal watch-along on Tuesday, and that will probably be with a manager that isn't Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. If you want to stay up to date on all the latest Manchester United news, updates, transfer news, gossip, and more, make sure you subscribe. News coming in live that obviously Ole's about to be sacked. Ole's in a meeting and he's just about to get sacked. So if you want to stay updated on that, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because once we get confirmation that Ole's been sacked from the club, there will be another live stream. So the second it's been confirmed that Ole's been sacked officially, there's unofficial reports coming out that Ole's been sacked. But the second we get official reports that Ole's been sacked and any news comes out officially, I will be live. Right now, all we know is there's a meeting going on and it's highly likely Ole will be sacked. But once Ole's sacked, there will be another live stream. So if you want to stay up to date on all the latest Manchester United news, please do subscribe down below. We're on the road to 25,000 subscribers by Christmas, which is a crazy ask. But if we can hit 25k by Christmas, that'd be very much appreciated. So if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. But getting into Donny's player rating, I'm going to give Donny van de Beek a 10. I'm not even lying. I'll give him a 10. Because he had 45 minutes. He got a goal. He got an assist that was disallowed. He should have got another assist. Ronaldo missed a sitter and he created 3 chances. He was the best player on the pitch by a country mile. So to have no game time, the reason I give Donny a 10 is maybe, 1, because he was the best player on the pitch. And 2, because I feel sorry for him. But 3, for a player to have little game time, I don't expect Donny to be match sharp. For a player to have as little game time as he does and to come in on a game where we're performing so badly and actually have an impact in 45 minutes, you have to give him credit for that. And he just showed what a quality player was, because even though the coaching was bad, even though the system was bad, he showed how good he was as a player today. He showed how good he was as a player today. And I respect that from Donny. And the fact that he came on and he played his best. Donny van de Beek is probably a player that wants Ole Gunnar Solskjaer sacked more than anyone else at Manchester United. And he came on, and he's probably the player that doesn't back Ole, but he came on and was the best player on that pitch. He was the only player that played for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer today, Donny van de Beek. And he's the one player that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has not treated well at all. I'm going to give Martial a 5. Wasn't great, but not really his fault. I'm going to give Deloa a 4, because when Deloa came on, we conceded 2 goals. Lingard didn't touch the ball, so I give him a 6. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you have to give him a 1. And I think Donny van de Beek just has to be man of the match. He was a level above everyone else. So I just thought I'd do my player ratings. I think, Donny is man of the match. But I am going to see what more news is coming in regarding Ole and all of that. So smash a like, by the way. The Manchester United news, Manchester Evening News has reported that Manchester United players and staff were in tears after the United lost to Watford. Samuel Lutka said that Manchester United players expect Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to be sacked in the wake of humiliating defeat to Watford. Some players and staff were in tears after United's 4-1 humbling at Vicarage Road. Although United are yet to inform Solskjaer of his dismissal, many United players believe Watford match may have been his last as manager. Now, Samuel Lutka gets information from Manchester United, the club itself, and he said that players believe that that was Ole's last game. He's saying that many players at Manchester United believe that that was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's last game as Manchester United manager. That news has just come out, by the way, guys, from Samuel Lutka. It looks very, very likely that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is expected to be sacked. The Manchester Evening News just tweeted 4 minutes ago that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is expected to be sacked as Manchester United manager as well. So lots and lots of news coming out that Ole is expected to be sacked as Manchester United manager. And I do sit here and I do believe that Ole probably will be sacked as Manchester United manager. By the way, guys, I do believe that. Let me show you a bit of the news, all of that. Internal talks going on with Manchester United now. This was from Fabrizio Romano that we are discussing Solskjaer's position. Part of the board are pushing to sack the manager immediately. The final choice is up to Joel Glazer. I'd say, guys, everyone watching right now, keep your Fabrizio Romano notifications on, because if you keep your Fabrizio Romano notifications on, you will know when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer sacked. If you keep your Romano notifications on, you'll know, you'll be updated when Ole's sacked. And look, obviously I said with complete confidence I believe he'd be sacked after Liverpool, and I was wrong. So don't always listen to me. I generally believed Ole would have been sacked after the Liverpool defeat, and I was 100,000,000% wrong. He wasn't sacked. But I do believe Ole will be sacked after this. I generally believe Ole will be sacked after this. Sack the board too. Unfortunately, you can't sack the board, but I would. They'll give a new contract and put the PR spin on it. Oh my God, imagine if they did that. I'd actually lose it if they did that. I'd actually lose it. I would 100% lose it. Ole should have been sacked if not United finished. Look, I think he will be sacked, guys. I think he will be sacked. How many likes are we on, guys? The goal was 500 likes on this video. So everybody watching this Ole out, smash a like on the video. If you're a Manchester United fan and you want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to be sacked, hit that like button. I want to see how many of you guys watching do want Ole to be sacked. So we're on 521 likes. I just checked the like target. So that is very, very good. Let's go for 600 likes, guys. If we've got over 600 people watching, so if everyone watching right now smashes that like button, we can hit 600 likes. We very much appreciate it. And as always, guys, I know I like to plug the channel a lot, but we are trying to hit 25,000 subscribers by the end of 2021. I know it's an ambitious goal. I know it's an ambitious target, but we are 1,250 subscribers away from 25k. So if anyone that's not subscribed to the channel, please do go ahead and subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football. If you want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, and more. If you want to, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is in a meeting right now. Samuel Lucker said that Manchester United players expect Ole to be sacked. The Manchester Evening News said it's expected that Ole will be sacked. Lots of news coming out right now that Ole's going to be dismissed. He's in a meeting right now. Everyone expects him to be sacked. That's the news coming out right now, guys. And I'm going to end the live stream here. But there's a very strong chance I'll be live again tonight. It's very likely Ole's been sacked. There's lots of reports that he's about to be sacked. There's reports that he might have just been sacked coming out, and that he's not going to be here for the Villarreal game. And that's very, very highly likely. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do is make sure you subscribe with post notifications on, because once we get confirmation that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been sacked as Manchester United manager, I will be live. I might be live again tonight. I could be live in an hour. I could be live in 2 hours. I could be live tomorrow morning. But once we get some confirmation that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been sacked as Manchester United manager, I will be live. So if you're not subscribed, put your bell notifications on, because it's very, very likely Ole will be sacked. There's unofficial reports saying he's been sacked, but obviously the club hasn't announced anything. We haven't got anything from anyone official. It's all unofficial reports and speculation, but very, very likely. So do make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed to the channel. Please smash a like on the video. Today's video was a bit of a match reaction to Manchester United versus Watford, but also, it ended up turning into me actually talking about all the news coming out, because, bish, bash, bosh, it looks like Ole's going to be sacked. But honestly, it looks like Ole's about to be gone. So, yeah, I might be live again in an hour. I might be live again in 2 hours, but I think Ole has been sacked. I think he's gone. So I'll see you guys soon. Keep your notifications on, subscribe soon, because once he's officially sacked, I'll be live, and that's very, very likely. Talk to you later, guys. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Bye, Z.